Hey guys, this is Chetan for Gizmo Times, and you're watching a quick comparison of the Realme X and the Realme 3 Pro. This is the Realme X that's now launched in India, and this comes with quite a few upgrades from the Realme 3 Pro, which was already the company's best phone in the market right now in India. And the Realme 3 Pro came in with the Qualcomm Snapdragon 710. So firstly with the Similarity, let's start with the similarities itself. It's going to have the same chipset. The Realme X as well is going to have the Qualcomm Snapdragon 710 mobile platform, so there's no difference in that way, and both the phones are going to have the same amount of RAM and storage options. But the Realme X is also coming with the 8GB RAM option along with 128GB storage, and this particular one has the same. With the benchmarks though, it's going to be the same because we have seen the scores on both of them, and it's almost the same on both. 1,55,000 around that point is what both the phones have got. So let's check that out first, and then we'll be going to the other aspect. So it's 1,55,000 for the Realme X and 1,54,000 for the Realme 3 Pro, and the Geekbench score is this 1480 and 1492, 5914. So it's almost the same because of the chipsets that they are powered by. It's Qualcomm Snapdragon 710. Now with the display, display is one major aspect where both of these would differ quite a bit, because although they have the same resolution, it's Full HD Plus resolution on both of them. The major difference here is with the notch on the top. So you can clearly see that the Realme 3 Pro has a notch on the top to house the camera, but here on the Realme X there is no notch because of the fact that there is this motorized pop-up camera on the top, and thus this is going to be a full screen display on the front of the Realme X. And now the next one is about the design. Design wise, both are almost the same because they have a plastic back which is glossy, and it's not a glass back. And with the display, the other thing is that both of them have one similarity again. It's the Gorilla Glass 5 protection that is offered on both the phones, and so no difference in that way. But the full screen display obviously would seem better on the Realme X. Now the next one is about the display's technology. Again, it's AMOLED display on the Realme X compared to the IPS LCD on the Realme 3 Pro. So on the display side, there are actually two advantages: the full screen as well as the AMOLED display, which seems better than what is on the Realme 3 Pro. But the Realme 3 Pro has one advantage over the Realme X. The Realme 3 Pro actually has a dedicated microSD card slot for the storage expansion, which is not present on the Realme X. The X actually doesn't have even a hybrid SIM slot, so it's a fixed storage option. So if you are someone who's considering a phone for long term, you might have to go with the larger variant with the better storage, because you can't expand the storage. There's no microSD card slot at all on the Realme X. Next, moving on to the OS, it's the same on both. It's actually ColorOS 6 based on Android 9 Pie in both the phones, so there is no difference. And there's also no difference between how they offer the features in the different settings. Exactly the same things that you're going to see on both of them. And the Realme 3 Pro that we have is having 6GB of RAM, and this one is having 8GB of RAM. So that is one option that you're going to get with the Realme X, that's 8GB of RAM. But with the OS there's no difference at all. But one, again, with the security there are differences here. You can clearly see the fingerprint sensor on the back of the Realme 3 Pro here, and that is not present on the back of the Realme X. That is because it comes with that in-display fingerprint sensor. I'm linking up the video over here so that you can check out the fingerprint performance of the Realme X to see if the in-display fingerprint sensor towards the bottom is going to work well. But that is surely an advantage over the Realme 3 Pro, that it has a good performing in-display fingerprint sensor, and that is better compared to the rear fingerprint sensor of the Realme 3 Pro. Though I would say that the Realme 3 Pro's fingerprint sensor on the back is quite fast in recognition and also unlocking the phone, so there won't be issue that way. But for someone who's looking for the latest tech, you obviously would get it on the Realme X. Now moving on to the cameras, the very important aspect here, you can see the arrangement is almost the same, a dual lens camera combination, but there's a major difference with the sensor that is included here. There's a 48 megapixel sensor on the Realme X, that is the Sony IMX586 sensor, that is compared to 16 megapixel sensor on the Realme 3 Pro. Both the lenses have the aperture size of f1.7, so they should be taking in good light for the low light conditions photography. But in the end, 48 megapixel sensor from the Sony's IMX586 is obviously going to take better pictures in our view. So we'll be possibly doing a camera comparison as well to show you which one has a better camera. And there's a 5 megapixel depth sensor on both of them, so there's no difference in the depth sensor, but with the main sensor it's quite different on these two. Even with the selfies, there's a difference. Here the Realme 3 Pro actually has a better selfie camera because it has a 25 megapixel f2.0 camera on the front, and that is for the selfies, while on the other side the Realme X has a 16 megapixel selfie camera, but that's the pop-up selfie camera. Again, I would say that frankly the selfie camera is not bad at all. It actually came up with quite some good selfies, and this is the selfie quality. You can see it's quite natural. It actually looks pretty good here, and this is with the smoothing of the face. This is without, and still the contrast, the colors, they all seem quite good, and there's HDR support as well. And this is the pop-up selfie camera on the Realme X, which actually functions quite well, and 16 megapixel versus 25 megapixel, both offering the same f2.0 aperture, so no difference in the aperture size of the lens, but the actual quality won't differ much for me. I would not say that 16 megapixel is bad when compared to 25, except for that resolution obviously, where the resolution on the Realme 3 Pro is better than the 16 MP resolution on the Realme X. So this is the selfie camera on the Realme 3 Pro. Again, you can clearly see that both of them offer quite a good color output. It's a bit fading out on the Realme X, if you see here, and it's more on the warmer side on the Realme 3 Pro, and they both have the same HDR right now. There is no other mode here, but you can see that it's warmer on the Realme 3 Pro compared to the Realme X. So obviously we'll be taking more selfies in natural light conditions, and then talk more about which one offers better selfies, but frankly there's no huge difference except for that resolution here. With the battery, it's the 3765 mAh on the Realme X. On the other side, it's 4045 mAh on the Realme 3 Pro. So obviously having the same chipset, everything else being the same, you can expect the Realme 3 Pro to offer a better battery life when compared to the Realme X, though it won't be a huge difference because it's just about 10% of a battery drain difference. And with the charging support, both have the same Whoop 3.0 flash charge support, so no difference there as well. There's only a little difference here with the battery, where the Realme 3 Pro might seem a bit better. And that is it with the major comparisons or the major aspects of these phones. Display wise, I would say that the Realme X is much better. Performance is going to be the same. With the cameras, we feel that the Realme X will be better, and also those options of in-display fingerprint and the pop-up selfie camera, they obviously are for the younger generation or the newer X generation. So that is where the Realme X would be a better choice, except for the battery life, where the Realme 3 Pro would be a tad bit better than the Realme X. So this was the quick comparison of these two Realme phones. If you're someone who actually is a Realme fan, or is considering a phone from Realme and is confused about which one to go with in the similar price range, so that is this comparison for you. I hope you like this video. If you do share and subscribe to Gizmo for more. Thank you for watching, and see you in our next video.